Yo, what's up, guys? So, I just had to talk about the hypocrisy I've been seeing with Street Fighter 6 players and Tekken players just shitting on Tekken and glazing Street Fighter 6 for this. Um, they're hating on one but saying the other is better. Reality is they're both the same. But what exactly am I talking about? So, the DLC hypocrisy. Street Fighter 6 Year 1 character pass Season 1. Here they both are. Um, Aki, Rashid, Ed, and Akuma for season one, right? Of Street Fighter 6. Ed is in the same boat as Falcon and Lydia, who both released in the previous game, but they were DLC twice now. And I didn't see much, if any. I've seen maybe like two people mention Ed and complain about Ed being DLC twice. And Akuma was also DLC in the last game. Akuma is the armor king of this game, obviously. He's always going to sell well, but um, as you can see, they're doing the same thing. And here's the first one of Tekken 8. We have Eddie, wasn't a DLC before. Lydia was a DLC, so she should. I believe that she, just like Eddie, or not Ed, sorry, Ed, should have been base roster as they released in the last game, and their entire lifespan they've always been DLCs. That's a little bit kind of bad. So I gotta agree with Tekken players on Lydia and Falcon on big DLC, but it's also like people aren't they're not I don't know. They treat Street Fighter 6 like a monolith and Tekken 8 like it's the worst thing ever. Obviously season 2 is kind of a disaster, but um yeah, let's see here. So, let's go to season 2 pass and let's go to year 3 because year 2 they had two guest characters and they had who else did they bring in? They brought in Elena and Bison. Okay, yeah, Bison. So so here's Tekken 8 Season 2 character passes. And here's where I do understand the issue. Two of these characters were released in Season 2 of the last game. This and Falcon was released in Season 3. Um, Anna, I just wish didn't even make it in the game. She's always been annoying to fight, but whatever. People are always gonna cry for her. And Armor King was obviously always gonna make it in. He's the moneymaker. And Falcon is also sort of the same thing. He had the most viewed trailer. He was the most played character, or sorry, no, he was the second most played DLC after Armor King. I think Armor King was top three, and I think Falcon was top five or top 10, even after the nerfs. Um, but look at this now. We have Sagat DLC last game, Sea Viper, Ingrid, and admittedly, I don't know these two characters. I didn't play the Street Fighter games that they were from. I don't recognize them. I've only played ever in my life Third Strike 2. And maybe they're in Third Strike. I don't believe so, but I don't remember because I've only played it like twice. But Third Strike 2, 5, and 6. In 5, I didn't even really look at the roster. I didn't like the game. But Alex is also DLC in the previous game. So again, two characters that are DLCs. And here's where it gets a little bit like confusing, right? So look at this. So this is the Tekken. You know what? Here, it'll be even better if I put these two side by side. Is there a way for me to zoom in on this? Okay, yeah. So look at this. These are the two rosters, the base rosters. Um, and there's obviously a huge difference. For one, um, there are actually no, there is one main difference. Look at the difference in the number of people that are in the game. There's 18 characters compared to 33. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 32. Okay, so there's 32 characters here. Um, so this game basically has almost doubled the amount of characters. So their DLC options are already a bit limited because they have that. Street Fighter obviously has a lot of DLC options. Um, but the issue lies in the fact that since they have such little characters, they tend to just bring back too many. They always bring back a lot of characters, and a lot of them are just from DLCs in the past game. Like we will continue getting more DLCs from previous games because look at this. There is 16 of these characters. Only 16 of them are actual characters that you can play base roster. Everybody else is DLC. This game has more DLC than it has actual playable characters, which is actually like completely insane. Like this is actually fucking crazy. I I don't know if people were complaining about that though, because I didn't keep up with Street Fighter 5. So somebody let me know. Here, let me zoom out of this. But obviously, but here, so they had Street Fighter obviously has a lot of options for DLCs, and a lot of them will be repeat. The issue lies for Tekken though, because who can Tekken bring besides guest characters? Obviously, this is a small roster. You can bring in, shit, let me just name people out, like Urian, I think is his name. Vega, um, shit, that fucking wrestler girl, Mika, I think. Obviously, I don't know if these characters are popular. I'm just naming characters I know, but there's obviously a lot of options here. Um, let me see if anything pops up. All Tekken characters ever. Um, so look at this. Now here's the issue that lies with Tekken. Um, um, who could they possibly bring back? Obviously, I see some people saying some stupid shit like Prototype Jack or Christy. Don't bring them back because it's idiotic. Why the fuck would anybody ever want that shit? That would be actually outrageous. But who can they bring back? A lot of these characters can't come back. They're all guest characters, right? And they already have most of the characters people actually care about. I mean, who is not in this game? I mean, Wang, bad play rate. Ann is in the game. Ganryu, awful play rate. Kuni is somebody who they could bring back definitely, but people are gonna complain she was repeat DLC, and I think she was DLC in Tag 2 before it became free or whatever. Um, the only characters I can see that like here, Ancient Ogre definitely could make a comeback. Um, Bob, as much as I hate Bob, he can 100% make a comeback because I know some people would play him. Plus, Bob is not DLC ever, so besides that, I genuinely can't tell you who I think. Miguel. Miguel is another one who I think could become DLC. And that's the issue. You could look at the Street Fighter 5 roster and pick all those DLCs and just put them in the game. Most of these characters that aren't in Tekken 8 aren't cared about. Bruce maybe as well, but Fahkumram kind of killed his chances. Julia is probably the last character here I can think of. I mean, yeah. And I guess if you really want to sneak him in, you could put Jinpachi or Kazumi. But overall, there's not that many characters that you could put. I mean, that does sound like a lot, but realistically, a majority of these characters aren't going to make it. The ones that already are not in the game, because they're just not played at all. They don't want to. They don't want to. Sell it and just get nothing out of it. Um. So here. Oh, how do I? Sorry about that. Okay, so and now when you look at Street Fighter, there's obviously a fuck ton of characters that could possibly make it. Somebody I've always wanted to see come back is Hugo. He's Urian too, but he was DLC in last game. But Hugo is just, I don't know, man. That fucking clap move or whatever it is just looks so sick. Um, but look how many characters there are that could come back. What is that? Q? I forget what his name is. Yeah, Q. I don't know if he's played though, but I'm looking at these guys. There's a lot of these characters that are just completely missing. Rolento, I know. Um, you know, oh man, it is a little bit more difficult for somebody like me who doesn't necessarily play because I can't say who is really really popular. Like I can't say play rates. Also, this Minot character looks sick. I can't necessarily point down the play rates. Obviously, or I guess I could search them up, but I don't know if there would be any info on these older games. But it is there's a lot of options here. Yoon and Yang. I know this guy was really played in Third Strike. He's top tier. Um, Third Strike is the only one I know some stuff of, and that's just because it's kind of a classic game. Do I think that what Tekken 8 is doing is right? No. I've said it plenty of times before. I even mentioned it in my video talking about Armor King a few videos ago. I said, "Oh, this is kind of shitty that he's DLC again," but Um, whatever. Yeah, he was obviously going to be DLC's their moneymaker. Fahkumram is also sort of the same thing, actually. Maybe not on the same scale, but definitely up there. But it's I don't know, man. It's just a hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is just insane in the community for the FGC. They sh- shit. I don't know. Tekken 8 needs honestly like this is gonna sound insane. I think Tekken 8 should have more guest characters. Maybe not some like Final Fantasy shit, but like have guest characters. Um, that make more sense. I know a lot of people wanted Baki, for example. I want a character from the Yakuza or Yakuza, however you say it, series. That would definitely be awesome. Um, it doesn't matter which character. Give me Majima. He's cool. But yeah, um, basically, moral of the story is give flack for all of these, honestly, because give flack for all of them or give flack to none because it doesn't make sense.